We are 100% live, and I'm pulling this up on my phone right now. Listen, I've got to tell you guys that it was a few years ago, I wrote a book called Walls of Wisdom, Turning Pain into Profit. Many of you have read the book. But I was 47 years old, I think, 48 when I published that book. And for many, 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 many years, people would say, Ken, you've got to write a book, man. You got crazy stories. You got to write a book. And I go, I know, yeah, I'll do that. But in the back of my mind, I was like, yes, I feel like it'd be a great idea to write a book. But who's gonna publish me? I don't have any credentials. How do these guys even get published? What's that all about? And eventually I figured it out after putting it off for many, many, many years unnecessarily. And I wish that I would have had somebody to just grab me by the hand at 25 years old or 30 years old and say, dude, this is how you do it. This is how you market it. And this is how you sell 500 million books. Do you know anybody like that, Mark Victor Hansen? I'm serious, man. I waited so many years. I honestly think, hey, look who's on here with us right now. Share this out. Brian, get everybody to share this out, would you?
I love that guy. He's so good. He wanted to help. So I don't know how he gets on so fast, but God bless Brian Hess.
I love Brian Hess, man. We were just texting a little bit ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right. There are so many people. I know there are a lot of people that are like, man, I really need to write a book about my story, whatever it is. Right. And they just don't do it. Why?
So I've heard that, as world's best-selling nonfiction author, there's some really good people in fiction that have numbers almost like mine. What's true is that I want everybody to write a book, because when you write a book, you're wiser, deeper, smarter. And what's amazing to me is the first chapter, I wrote is 101 reasons why to write a book. And if you have the reasons for versus the reasons against, the reasons for, you must do it. And Brian Hess is an example here. You've got to finish your book, and we're going to go through this virtual seminar to reignite you and re-inspire you. And then I want everyone to go to my website, markvictorhansen.com, watch the video there, decide that you can do it, and decide to go forth with vigor. So I will show the PowerPoint, and you get to ask any questions you want, Ken, or if the people write in and on the private chat questions, we'll answer them. How's that?
Look, Brian says, you guys know anybody that can help? That's Nope, don't know anyone. So yeah, pull up here.
There's no hope for him.
Yeah, Brian, you're screwed, dude.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, Brian is a friend of both of ours. So we think the world of anybody who can pay that much asphalt, and be fault free should finish a book on it. How to pay America.
No, I mean, seriously. So just hit Command Tab, flip over to your PowerPoint. Let's go through that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've just done a book visual virtual course called You Have a Book in You, because I think every one of you is born with a book in you. And right now we're in the greatest crisis ever and the greatest opportunities. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we just got a letter from our governor that said all the bars are closed. Well, that doesn't do me any good because I don't go to them or doesn't mind. But they just closed all the gyms, and I am a member of one of the best gym systems in the world, and that does break my heart because I love to spend a couple days a week and in between times do all the bodybuilding.
Hey, Mark, Brian, I know you're not looking at the stream art. By the way, you can flip back and forth. Just hit Command Tab, and Brian said, not writing a book is my own ass fault.
Brian, you damn funny boy. And it is your own ass fault. But ladies and gentlemen, it's everyone's ass fault, because let me jump way forward and say you need to write your own biography, and I'm dealing with we're very close friends with a woman whose company does $3.6 billion a year. And to be an heir, an HEIR, an heir in her company, you must, before 50, write your own biography. Well, you learn a lot by writing your own biography. So no one should not do it, because pretend that you're going to make a fortune by writing it. And that's what I want to help you do. So let me just proceed with Viga here.
Yeah.
And that is, back in 1974, I went bankrupt. And I went bankrupt so fast. Like it says, I had to check a book out of the library, how to go bankrupt by myself. But you can see, ladies and gentlemen, in the prehistoric days, I had hair. And I wanted to be an inspiring speaker. And then I wrote a book. At the front end, I'm talking to little life insurance companies. In the first 3 years in business, I was doing about 1,000 talks a year. Tony Robbins and I are the only two guys that did that many talks, I'm told.
Wow.
But everyone said, man, you got to have that book and the story. So I did a book called Stand Up, Speak Out, and Win. We sold 20,000 copies from the platform at $10 each. I earned $200,000. So I tripled my income. I never lied. I said, this is my best-selling book. I didn't say it's a national bestseller. I didn't say it was a New York Times bestseller, but it was my bestseller, and it really rocked. And it was a wonderful way to proceed. Now, as a 9-year-old, I sold enough greeting cards to become #1 greeting card salesman to earn my own bicycle. And then at 16 years old, I started a little rock group. Then I'm in college, and I meet the smartest guy on the planet, Einstein's best student, Dr. R. Buckminster Fuller, who's an author, a futurist, a visionary, an engineer, a mathematician, Renaissance man. He wanted to make the world work for 100% of humanity, and I apprenticed to him, which was my wonderful thing. And then, as I said, I went bankrupt, but I did that book, and that started me on multi-authored books, because that's one of the quick ways to get it done. And I teach, 12 ways to do it with alacrity and speed. But Jack and I have now sold 500 million books. That's Dr. Canfield's little head above mine, right? What I believe
now I've heard two numbers. I've heard 500 million and I've heard 600 million. But I said
500 million, and I haven't got 600 million yet. I don't think. By the way, there's a reason. Do you want me to answer that?
Yes.
Okay, so everyone says, well, you've been 59 times #1 New York Times. True. But I've also been #1 in England, #1 all over Africa, China, where they don't keep really good numbers, and they've sold 374 million books last count. But as you know, there's no information coming out of China right now. And mine is, Jackson, my book is the only one that's acceptable by the Chinese government, because they don't understand the word soul means that electricity of God inside each and every being. And we didn't tell them, but the people knew. That's why they bought it. Isn't that wonderful?
Wow. That's awesome, man.
So everybody ought to have a purpose for their companies and their books and that. And mine are threefold. I say it ought to be transformational. If you read one of my books, it'll give you God bumps, goosebumps, chilly bumps. The stories will morph you. They'll make you better off. They'll cause instantaneous behavior change. It's got to be unique. I only do books that are unusual, different. Same with the businesses. And I say it's got to be inevitable. I think it's inevitable that everyone's going to buy one of our Ask books. It just is one of the things that'll happen. And, you ought to have a purpose. It should be in writing. I challenge you, if you don't have a purpose, your purpose is to write a purpose. If you don't have goals, your purpose is to write some goals. But Jack and I wanted to change the whole world one story at a time. And so we found what we consider to be 10 plus stories. And then when we started to go to the publishers, basically I'm the sales marketing guy in the Jack and Mark thing, and I've been selling and been rejection proof so much that Peter Guber, the guy who's made 50 Academy Award movies like Rocky and Batman and Rain Man and, anyhow, all those kind of movies, said, you're so dyslexic. Now, I'm not truly dyslexic, but he said, you think no means on. But what we say is, when somebody says no, you just say next, because all of us are going to get rejected no matter what you do once in a while. And you got to keep your goals, and they got to be in writing. And what we're recommending is you write your goals on a 3x5 card, keep them where you'll see them, put it in your wallet. And when Jack and I started, we said, the little 3x5 card, you look at it, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and before you go to sleep at night, it says, I'm so happy. I'm selling 1.5 million books in a year and a half. Well, we came out June 28, 1993. By Christmas, a year and a half later, because 80% of the books are sold between November and December. Books are the biggest gift thing in the world. what happened is we'd sold 1.3 million, and then I said we'd sell 5 million the next year, and they said that won't happen, and we did it, and then 10 million, and then 15 million for 4 years in a row, and got all the Guinness Book of Records.
Jeez, that is unbelievable.
Well, thank you. And then what we started to see is you could do Chicken Soup for the Ocean Lover Soul. We did it with the world's greatest commercial artist who makes about $87 million a year, a wonderful guy named Weiland. We did Nurse's Soul with just a terrific woman who came on a podcast I did the other day spontaneously. And, I thought nurses were underloved, unappreciated, often accused of stuff by the doctors, the administrators, and sometimes the patients. So we did a book to celebrate. And right now we are short of nurses, and nurses are, again, being trashed a little bit because of COVID, because they don't want to go in. And I can't blame them because it's deadly. So, you don't want to do it. When I teach book selling, though, in our virtual course that I want you to take, I'm going to teach you how to be exponential. Now, if you do arithmetic, that's linear. I take 30 steps across the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exponential is 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 32. The point is, if you start with $1 and you exponentially go through 30 revolutions, $1 becomes 1 billion, spelled with a B dollars, 1 billion. Well, that's what I wanted to do in the book business. And we're, in answer to your question a minute ago, I'm halfway to goal. My goal is to sell 1 billion books, which my detractors and my critics say, well, no one's done it. Well, once I was rocking and making a lot of money, I had big parties back when parties were available, and we'd have 400 or 500 people show up and I'd pay for the party. But one night, Bob Allen, who wrote Nothing Down, and it's the best real estate book ever, and he owned at the time the Jazz, and he owned downtown Utah. But he came and he said, I want you to write the foreword to 1 Millionaire. Well, the next morning I'm flying up to a talk up in Vancouver, British Columbia, and in the first class seat next to me, Bob shows up, and I said, what are you doing there? He said, I've decided I'm going to write the book with you. I said, that's an interesting decision. We didn't talk about that. I talked to your secretary, got the seat, and I bought it up from somebody else, and I'm sitting here. So
Wow.
He talked me into doing it, and it became a great book. And again, remember I said, go ahead.
Can I interrupt you real fast? Can you
sure.
Command tab your way back over here? Here's a very important question. I need an answer for that.
Command tab. I'm hitting it. Oh, I see what we got to do. Command tab. Okay, there you are. Here we are.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian's still hanging in there with that sweetheart of his. Good.
He wants to know how
for the course. Holy cow, he's asking the right question. Go to markvictorhansen.com. Don't even watch another minute of this podcast and just get all this stuff. And we will let you in, but only today only, Brian. Ken, do you know the term shill?
Shill?
Shill. It was created by William Shakespeare. I think you know him as a writer in Stratford on the Avon, and he had people stand up and cheer for his plays, and that's why his plays became good, and they were called shills. People watching this are going to think, holy cow, you got Brian Hess as a shill. he's a booster rocket. Brian is a great friend, ladies and gentlemen, and he's a force multiplier for both Ken and I. And we love him. And my wife says when I get on with you, I shouldn't be so silly because people think I'm not serious. I'm serious that you ought to do this. I'm also serious that book writing for me is fun, easy, fast, and extraordinarily lucrative. And I want to teach everyone how to do it, even if you only use it as the door opener, as a credibility piece, as the thing to expand your business, as a business to give you reputation that you can go. Because when you call somebody and say, I represent XYZ company, you may not get in. But if you call and say, hi, is Mr. Walls in, please? I am the author of blank. They go, oh, yes, I'll get the boss. Doesn't that make sense?
Look, man, when you, first off, you hold the world record. And you, when you reached out to me initially because of Bob Donnell referred you. Good friend. And he's an amazing guy. But when you reached out, I got your text message and I was on another call and I almost choked. Like I was like, I got to go. Like I think I was talking to Trump or something. I'm kidding. But I was like, Mike Victor Hansen just texted me. I gotta go. Like, I gotta call this guy. We're done. Have a nice day. Good luck with that whole war thing you got going, but I gotta go. But like, it gives, you talked about early in the presentation here, you talked about in 1974 you went bankrupt, but because entrepreneurs do that, but then you started writing books, and I think that's when it all changed for you, right? Like,
Oh,
there was
totally. And that is what I'm saying to everybody. Look, we've just gotten re-sequestered in my state, and I know they're doing it in a couple other states like Texas and Florida right now, in California, and it's heartbreaking and it's demoralizing. But ladies and gentlemen, remember that in Genesis it says, "What you meant for my harm, God meant for my good." The last line from in the Joseph and the Color Story. I believe that all of us are here to do one thing, and that is take adversity, turn it into advantage. Take adversity, turn it into opportunity. So that's why we started with the biggest crisis has the biggest opportunity. One part of that opportunity is to write a book. Now that's part of what I teach, 38 ways of being I trademarked the word a long time ago with Bob Allen, be an infopreneur, an information entrepreneur. Because right now we're all stuck, but we've all got more information in us, and you got to release it, because it's what Russell Conwell would say, it's your acres of diamonds. So let me just show what this does. So if I can get us back on.
Command tab.
I am doing it, but I see that I got to be faster than a speeding bullet.
No, you just keep the command key held down. Don't let go of command, and then hit tab and let up, and then hit tab again. And
okay, good.
You just tab through one at a time.
I thought it would go. I'm going to get this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a neophyte at this, but I like it.
It's all good. Brian says, while you're doing that, Brian said the first time he talked to you, he was driving on I-79 North and almost wrecked his truck when he saw your name come up on his phone.
But wait, I'm not supposed to have that kind of effect on people, I don't think.
It's a good thing. Did you get it?
Next time I'm going to bring it up. I keep hitting it, Chrome, and it's not.
Okay. Hit command, hold command down, and then just hit tab once, and it pulls up the whole menu, and it should have highlighted the PowerPoint. If you keep command held down and just keep hitting tab until it's highlighting the PowerPoint.
Ladies, and gentlemen, you get to be in my key here.
Are you in? What are you looking at right now?
I'm trying to make command tab work.
Are you looking at us still? At me?
No. Well, I see you, but I'll just tell you what it says. How's that? It says, when I wrote 1 Minute Millionaire, what it said was, I want to create 1 million millionaires. 1 million times a million is a trillion, so that's a big number. And right now, the economy needs you more than ever, because a millionaire creates 10 jobs. A billionaire creates 10,000 jobs.
Wow.
So we need more billionaires to give everybody employment back, because a lot of people are unemployed. Like yesterday or 2 days ago, we did a podcast in Australia. They just shut down all the airplanes. They're not letting anybody fly in or out of Australia until January 2nd. So 8,000 people lost their jobs like that. And what the head of the government, one of them said, well, would I help those people get back to work? And I said, of course, yes. One more time. I'm going to try this.
Okay. Hold command down.
Yeah.
And now just hit tab. Don't just hit it. Just tap it and let go of tab. Don't let go of command, though.
Well,
does it pull up the menu of all the things that are open?
Yeah, it does a menu beautifully, and then I went through them all.
And now just keep hitting the tab key until you're highlighting the PowerPoint, and then let go of command.
It isn't popping.
It's not popping. Well, shoot.
Anybody? Let's see if I hit this. Would that bring it back up? No, that doesn't do it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what happens?
So we made it this far. There's got to be a way. What if you hit the escape key up in the upper left-hand corner of the keyboard? Does that do anything?
No.
Command tab.
I'm hitting through all this stuff, right? It worked so well before.
I worked perfectly. All right, here, do this. Click on. Okay, you can see you and I right now, correct?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so just click on our window. Just click it anywhere except for don't click the leave studio button, but click on our window and now hit Command Tab and see if it pulls up the PowerPoint and then let go of Command. Nope.
No luck yet. Here, let me just try it. Click that one. New word, old Oxford Dictionary. No, we don't need that right now. Well, I'll just keep repeating the same thing until I can figure out how to solve this problem here for us.
How about if you, I have another idea. Minimize the window.
I did it.
You did it.
See, I said you can create 1 million millionaires that grow exponentially. Remember what I said?
Yep.
2, 4, 8, right? And then what happens is, ladies and gentlemen listening, is there's one perfect, easy, acceptable way for you to become a millionaire. And if you haven't read this book, I'd recommend it. And of course, Jackson and I believe if you write what you're really capable of writing, you'll literally astonish yourself. And everybody has a book in them. I got the privilege of Willie Nelson is a friend of mine, and he introduced me to Morgan Freeman, who's a genius. Holy cow. But they did this movie together called Bucket List, and 90% of intellectual high school, college graduates want to write a book. So I said, well, what is the benefit of writing a book? Well, it's going to accelerate you from getting here to there. I already said, for me and for you, it'll be fun, may create a fortune, fame, opportunity, promotion, credibility, recognition, awards, relationship capital, travel, friends everywhere. I got friends in 180 countries I've been hired to only because I did a book. And
Wow.
Then you learn to ask for the fulfillment, and we've got a great book out called Ask. And what I'm teaching in this 12 course, the second one is on interviews, because when Jack and I finished Chicken Soup, it'd be 1.5 years before it got published. It no longer takes that long, but that's how long it took then. And we used up all our money just to get from zero to trying to be hero, and thought we were going to do it. But I interviewed in chiropractic. They just lost all their insurance. So I met over, I trained in 4 marketplaces, one of which chiropractic. And in chiropractic, I knew all the guys and ladies that made over $1 million a year with their practices and all the uniqueness. So I interviewed them on the telephone in second week of December. Third week of December, I turned it into a tape program called How to Run $1 Million Cash Practice. And then I interviewed their CAs, or chiropractic assistants, how to fast build a practice. And then I sold $3 million worth of those interviews.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, I suggest that my dear friend Ken on here can teach you how to podcast. When you're podcasting, always interview it, always tape it, always transcribe it, and then go forth. And the beautiful thing is, here's a picture of Bob Allen and I with 4,000 people running our seminar, which we did $100 million a year seminar company called Enlightened Millionaire Institute. But today, to get to those same people, you can do the podcast. I'm sitting at home doing 4 or 5 podcasts a day. I know it's a little hard to believe for some of you, but that's why we're selling books. And then I said, you got to be unique. I'm on the right here, and Bob's in the middle behind that lady that's blonde. That was our agent, Jillian Manna. She had a bicycle accident, so she's no longer our agent because she's not working. But if you notice the little lady in the blue shirt, she's got a butterfly. The way we got, this is Random House, which they do $25 billion of books a year. And they published that book and gave us $1 million before we wrote 1 Minute Millionaire. But notice we released the butterfly, which is a universal symbol of illumination. And I found out that you could have butterflies and release them, and the people just went crazy. They all wanted a butterfly. So we brought butterflies unexpectedly to them. And I promise you, they will never forget that Mark and Bob and Jillian showed up, because you got to be unique, because everybody comes in and says, I'm going to outsell Harry Potter books. They get a little bit amused and bemused at that. And then I put together with Bob the top 40 marketing experts. The head of Disney, there's Brian Tracy, there's the head of Dennis, Ken Kerr. And we said, what would you do to sell more books in less time than anybody has ever sold? And obviously, you got to use your imagination. You got to have a storyboard with the pictures of what you want. And here I'm with a guy who really, when San Francisco was really great, it was built by this guy, Marshall Thurber. And Marshall's going through every chapter in the book, and we're thinking it through. That's the office, one of the office walls in my office, where I call it my love room because I have pictures of me and all the celebrities of the world. So the point is, if you want to write a book or books, play or plays, podcasts, documentaries, which I didn't even realize how easy they are to do, but I teach that too now that I learned it from Adam Carolla when I was on with 4 million people and him, or movies, which one of my students who I'll talk about last made $100 million on his movie. So how does it work? You've got to have a great book, but then 90% of your time's got to be spent on marketing, selling, self-promotion, advertising, and hustling new business. And you got to have the rule of 7. You do 7 things every day, no matter what, no matter how little they are, but you got to have giant goals. Because if you're going to work this hard, you want to have a big payday. You want to have big goals and sell at least 1 million of your book. And you say, well, has anyone ever become a billionaire? Well, 2004, Forbes says J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter. Now, remember, she had her husband at the time kick her in the abdomen. She had a spontaneous miscarriage, sorry. She is on a train, and all of a sudden, this idea for Harry comes to her. And if you've seen the YouTube videos, which I ask you to watch, you know, she shows all the pictures that she drew up, and she's the first billionaire author in history.
Wow.
Now, am I going to teach you how to do it? Yeah, I teach you how to do all this stuff, because if you're going to market, you ought to have multiple streams of income. And yes, word of mouth is always the best, where, you know, Ken loves our book, so he does our word of mouth to everybody. But you can do joint ventures, existing customers, all this good stuff. And you got to have an action plan that matches your expertise or passion, where you find the hungriest fish in the ocean or the lake that want to buy your stuff exclusively. And then what are they biting on? Design your own unique bait. Every time we come back to this unique, and then test your bait. And if it works out, then you cookie cutter it and you replicate it and expand your line. Next, some of you know the power of a tunnel. But here is the information entrepreneurial tunnel, where you start with something like a book, a tape, a video. And if you go to markvictorhansen.com, we're going to give you a free book called How to Be Up and Down Times. I just wrote it with Mitzi Purdue and Preston Weeks. I think you've had them on your show, haven't you, Ken?
I've had Mitzi on.
Okay, cool. Well, that's how you start. You get somebody into your funnel. And the goal for everybody, for my goal for you, is to earn $1 million and then earn $1 million a year. Because, by the way, it's all consciousness. It's all thinking, right? Napoleon Hill wrote, think and grow rich. And then you put it in and you start doing all the stuff that it takes, and you start creating this enormous, wondrous, perfected tunnel, and you get no limit. Like we were charging, the first time Bob and I charged $25,000 to go on a trip with us to climb Machu Picchu, which is down in Peru, which is just, you'll never forget it. But we also climbed Whitney. We also, climbed Fuji. We did a lot of cool stuff. We also took everyone to the Maldives. We did really cool stuff, but people are willing to pay to travel because most people are afraid to go alone, we personally coached them on a trip, which was great fun. So what do I teach? I teach why you write a book. I said, interviewing is easy, profitable, and it pays now. You can start making money with your interviewing skills in a couple weeks, like I said. And you always start at the end. What do you want to do? And I teach, what is your 10-year vision going to be? When I quote a guy named Dr. Jeffrey Land, who makes millions a year writing. And you'll never hear of him unless you get on his stuff. But, I tell you all the people you ought to look at. Choose a killer money-making title. And I write all the zones that you can write titles in, because I am told I'm one of the best title writers. You want to have it effortless and fun. So I teach you how to outline. I teach you how to master the fine art of storytelling, how to generate cash-generating book designs, all the ways to do your book, print it quick, and then build a brand that commands.
So can you go back to that slide? I have a question. Go back to.
Yeah, sure.
So I have a question, and it's a rhetorical question, but it's to make a point. Like, again, for those of you that don't know, that are just hopping on, I see Glenn Bill, the great Glenn Bill, is on here. Glenn he's a phenomenal human being, and you guys need to be on his podcast, Mark.
I'd love to, Glenn.
He's a great dude. But so Julie Massengale is on here, and she says, I want to write a book about how I overcame a lot and share my experience about addressing kids on social media and help communities get educated on keeping kids safe online, home and school. So, my question for anybody is, I did a little course about how to self-publish a book. I don't even try to sell it anymore. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. I'm friends with the guy that holds the world record in book sales, and that's Mark Victor Hansen, having sold over 500 million books, 500 million books. That's so many books you can't even fathom it. And so why, Mark, you just told me recently that you had this course. I didn't even know you had this course. I'm like, dude, we got to go live and tell people about this, because that's unbelievable. Why would anybody go anywhere else to learn how to write and market a book and create the title and create the cover? Why would you ever go anywhere else than to the guy that holds the world record? I'm not sure that why would you go anywhere else ever? So,
yeah, let's answer those two questions, because I love them both. But at the end, I'm almost done.
Okay, all right, keep going. I'm sorry.
The point is, I think because of COVID, 8 billion of us have been shut down. I believe, and I think you believe, Ken, that henceforward, somewhere around 50% everything is going to be digital. And I want to show you how to capitalize on it, because it's there for all of us. And if you want to get awards, the highest business award is, I won the Horatio Alger Award for Distinguished Americans. You get it in the U.S. Supreme Court. It's a gold medal. That's what Horatio looked like. He wrote us out of rags, out of riches, to get us out of the 1898, depression. And I want to help do that right now. But what do? You create as much value as you can, become as wealthy and influential as you can, which I want to help each and every one of you to do. Save and invest as much as you can, to give away as much as you can, to make your life a masterpiece. That's the goal. And for those of you that have never seen my wife, here's my wife in the middle in that beautiful pink. And we did a whole TV show with Dean Graziosi, who has sold more books as an infomercial king right here in Arizona than anyone almost.
Wow.
And one of my students, has been wonderful. David Bach came to 2 of my mega book writing and just did phenomenal, writing money books like Smart Women Finish Rich. And he's made tens of millions of dollars. Joel Block came and said, wait a second, I came and paid $1,000. I earned $150,000 the next day, and that's net revenue.
Wow.
And he put me on his show recently. This guy surprised the heck out of me, Dan Caldwell. I usually have people in suits and ties at my seminar. So this guy comes in with wall-to-wall tattoos, and I thought, wow, that's interesting. So I think I better go interview him and see if he's in the right room. I thought, maybe he's not in the right room. He said, look, guy, I made $200 million because of you. I said, and he was not particularly articulate. And I said, how'd you do that? He said, I listened to your tapes, which are still the best sellers that Nightingale ever had. How to think bigger than you ever thought you could think. I recommend them to all of you. You can get them online, get them at libraries, whatever you got to do to get it. But he said, I listened it over 200 times, going back and forth. He created Tap Out, which is mixed martial arts, and is just an amazing, and clothes and all that stuff. But he said, I did it all by listening to you. I said, wow, well, thank you for coming. He said, I had to celebrate you and tell you, because you wouldn't know. And letters that I wrote you somehow didn't get to you. Now, respectfully, we're getting 5,000 letters a day at one time. And sometimes we didn't hear everything. Well, one of the guys I wrote a book with, is this guy, Art Linkletter. He did 3 TV shows a day, walked from them. He's 98, and my partner. But he did Kids Say the Darndest Thing, People Are Funny, House Party. He's in Australia working for Ronald Reagan as our ambassador. Sees kids with a hoop, but not squidding it, but flipping it around. So he made $2 billion with hula hoop. Is that cool?
Jeez, that's amazing.
I mean, the story takes a half hour, but I'm just giving you the distilled essence. So now what am I saying? This is what a bestseller list looks like. And we're #1 New York Times, USA Today, and Publishers Weekly. And there's 7,000 of these lists a year at New York Times when New York Times is publishing book reviews. And what I want to do is help you be special part of our program and have a virtual book in you, the course that'll get your book started and finished, and it'll be your future emotional capital for your speeches and everything else. Because here's the thing, if you wonder, this is the big guy, what's the most important thing you can leave behind you? Your accurate, wise words. And you've got something to say that nobody else can say, that everybody else would be better off if you say it. And it's easy, takes a little bit of work, but it's doable. And I want to help you automatically write your bestseller. And so my goal is to have you have a large income that astonishes yourself. And yes, I expect you to tithe. We've tithed on every one of our books ever written in advance. We say where it's going to be. Wow. And like I said, your book is a brand. It's your brand to command. And when I say I wrote Chicken Soup, you can't believe some of the positive feedback I get from people who say, I cured my cancer because of your Chicken Soup with the surviving soul. You saved our country, Lebanon, all kinds of stuff. Now, the first 10 of you that register tonight are going to get a personal endorsement from me, assuming you have an excellent book. But I'm going to teach you how to do that. We give you 12 video classes when you go to markvictorhansen.com. And the assignments are made so you just effortlessly go through this and get it done, and it makes it fun. And you're going to receive 12 intensive videos, profit making, how to make it a business, how to have everything you need to make this work. And once a month, you get to have a live call with me because I want to take you to places that nobody else can take you. And you're going to get to meet like-minded authors, co-authors, and ghosts. Whatever you need to finish, like Brian Hess was asking, we're going to tell you who's making money now and give you favorable introductions to top agents who are looking for books and show you media mavens, guys like Ken and a lot of others and the podcasters that are succeeding. Because the question is, what's an hour of my time worth? Well, I get paid about $10,000 an hour or $50,000 for a day's talk. So when my wife came to my seminar before we got married, her first audience had $4,000 after she heard what I teach, and she made net $4,000. I was on a program with John Gray, John Asraf, Merv. So this is doable. And you say, well, can I overcome every obstacle? Well, I like this guy a ton. Jim Stovall wrote a book called The Ultimate Gift. Now, some of you don't know it, but at 19, he was ready to go be an NFL player. They recruited him. The doctor comes back and said, kid, I'm sorry, you're going to be permanently forever blind. Long story short, he created Narrative TV, has 14 million people paying $10 a month for streaming TV for blind people. But then I get sent his book to write the endorsement to this book called The Ultimate Gift. And I was so blown away. I wrote the endorsement and I said, this has got to be the book in the middle there, top, Jim Stovall, The Ultimate Gift. And it's now a series, but I wrote, this has got to be a movie. And he said, if I live to be 100, I'll not be a day I don't thank Mark Victor Hansen, because I made $100 million on my movie. And now he's doing a movie that he's going to feature Crystal and Mark in, I'm thankful to say. But if this guy can overcome every adversity, pour out pure wisdom because he went blind. Remember, I'm teaching you, take adversity, turn it into advantage. Take adversity, turn it into opportunity. And if this is the slowest time, you need the fastest opportunities to make money. And here's Crystal and I cheering you on. And then I'm Danish, so it's scolding you in advance to write it. Because here's what happens. There's one of my early books, How to Achieve Total Prosperity. I'm telling you, there's a book fortune in you. The world needs it. And you're the only one that can create it. Ken can't do it for you. I can't do it for you. I can help you. That's what I want to do, is I want to help you. And it's a modest investment. Jeez. A lot of you paid $60,000 or $150,000 or $250,000 to go to college. And I'm saying, I'm going to give you the best ROI potentially ever. And it's only $997 investment in yourself. And you can do multiple payments. You can do anything that you want. So we just want to help you get it. A little investment to give a big result. And
wow.
Now if I can get us back out and
hit escape.
I got it to littler. How's that?
You got what? Oh, he's gone. He closed. I have a feeling he'll be back, though. He'll be back. Man, while Mark is figuring that out to come back, I gotta say, like, number one, I wrote my book and I worked my tail off to get it to number one on Amazon. But then, the podcasting, the show that I do, Break Through Walls, and having guys like Mark on the show and a lot of other amazing people have been on the show, to become friends with somebody like Mark Victor Hansen, who sends me at least one text message a day. And then to find out that he has this course, I'm like, dude, what? The guy that holds the world record for the number of books sold on planet Earth has a course teaching how to write a book and how to market the book. It's one thing to write a book. It's another thing to market the book. So, and he's teaching in this course, like he was saying, he's teaching how to, let's see if he tries to call me, make sure I don't have do not disturb. He's teaching how to speed write the book, how to do all kinds of amazing things. Let's see. Hang on real quick. Let me hang on. Let's see if I can get him on the phone. Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay. You're on the speaker. I said, hey, let me call him, see if we can get him back on here. So. Oh, that's fine. Oh, okay. Good. Good. I'll see you in here. There he is. He's back. He's back.
That's wonderful that Brian Hess writes us all these great little, Brian, thank you for being a dear friend. It's the best.
Brian's the best, man. He's the best. So I was just recapping a couple of the things, like,
thank you.
There's a lot of people that have, I mean, look, I can't be the only guy out of almost 8 billion people on this planet that said for 25 years, I'm going to write a book. Brian's getting the course. Good on you, dude. Good job. So, that said for 25 years, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book, and put it off forever. And I mean, what do you say to those people that are putting it off?
Do it now. The whole cliche, you live in your affirmations. Words you say to yourself, others say to you. You believe, think about, act upon, and then act upon you. Just decide you're going to do it now and keep saying that repetitively until you got it done. And there's my whole website.
There's right here. Yeah. Julie just asked, and Mark, if you look at StreamYard up at the top, you should, on the right side, you see private chat. You should see public chat too, so you can see all the comments.
I see private chat. Oh, hit live comments. Okay.
Yeah, live comments,
and then we can answer all of them. Wow.
Yeah. So I'm just showing. I pulled your website up because I want people to know. All you do is go to the website, scroll right down here, and this button right here, join me for the course. You click on that, and it takes you over to where you can get signed up for the course.
Okay, so let's answer the question you asked me from Julie Massengale. What a great name. I want to write a book about how to overcome a lot and share my experience about addressing kids on social media. That's A+ idea. Help communities get educated on keeping kids safe online. Julie, what you need to know is that I am currently with my wife, co-chairman of childhelp.org. Child Help has helped 10.5 million kids get out of abuse, neglect, and sex trafficking. So I wish you would write it and then share it and help out.
Wow.
And Brian, I see it as a no-brainer for anybody who's ever considered writing a book. Good. And how do I find the course? Just go to markvictorhansen.com.
Yeah.
Next question. Let's see. Can I scroll these up or?
Yep, you can.
Okay. Can I scroll them down too? This is. I do. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the learner bee here, and then Larry Schneider. I don't see his question actually, except He's thankful that we're here. And same with Ryan Caddy. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question, don't hesitate to write it. I will answer any question on any topic I might have some small amount of information. My mother used to say, she always called me by Marky, of course, but said Marky is a share boy, and he answers every topic with an open mouth. By the way, Mom, I learned it from you, and it pays really well.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody, and there is going to be a delay. So there's a 20-second delay from when we ask them a question to when they go, oh yeah, I have a question. Then they have to type it out on their keyboard. So there could be a 60-second delay, but again, I feel I told you on a private conversation, I said, I kind of feel silly that I even have a course teaching how to write a book. Like,
well, some course is better than no course, though. I mean, look, everybody needs to start. And the point is, the old cliche, I think, begun is well done. Would you recommend starting with an ebook? Hey, Glenn Caldwell, the answer is 100% yes, especially now. Let me just give you a backdrop experience to that. When 1 Minute Manager, now I wrote 1 Minute Millionaire, but when 1 Minute Manager was written, it was written by two guys, both Harvard guys, Spencer Johnson, who's an MD, and a PhD, Ken Blanchard. And Ken Blanchard was Jack's teacher at Harvard. But both guys became great friends of mine also, because I interviewed everyone. But nobody would publish their book, so they printed 40,000 copies on a Xerox machine, a copy machine, sold it, and then when they took that, the 40,000 sales, I think they went to Simon & Schuster, if I'm remembering right, they got $4 million advance. But the same thing's true on electric books, because the beautiful thing now is that you got two electric companies, three probably, but let's just do the two big ones, Amazon and Walmart.com. And if you sell your book there and the volume goes up and it reads down at the bottom when you start, and like when we started with Ask, this little book came out April 28th, and our publisher came to us and said, hey, yes, there you go. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah, I have mine bookmarked, though, because I'm reading it right now. It's such a good book.
Good. And I hope you're loving it.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyhow, so we think it's the most pivotal thing, because when you learn to ask, you become a master asker, you get a masterful life, and your life is here to be a masterpiece. Anyhow, so Brian has tell the Harvard story again. Okay, so I guess I didn't finish. My apologies. So the Harvard story is such a cute thing, because Spencer and I became good friends as an MD teaching in Harvard Business School, because he wrote the value books. He made $100 million writing value books. Now you say, what's a value book? Well, it was for kids, and our lady friend needs to look at those too. Julie, if you're still on with us, you need to look at the value books, because what he did is he did little books that probably took him a week to write, but he'd write them about Louis Pasteur. Now, Louis Pasteur was criticized. He was probably a genius kid, but they made fun of him, right? A lot of people that have super brilliant minds, are criticized kids. But he kept thinking there's invisible enemies inside you, which he created the word germs. And suddenly nobody would believe him. And then he created this thing called antibiotics. And what happened is the dog bites this kid in France, and the kid is dying and foaming at the mouth and all that. So the parents read a story about Dr. Louis Pasteur, come running over. He gives them the first shot. Instantly, the kid is well. And that's the whole story. But the point is, he did it about everybody, Jonas Salk and everybody. And two parts to it. I got to do a subpart to it. Crystal and I are on 5 radio podcasts and TV podcasts in one day. We did 2 in America, 1 in Canada. We're on in the biggest show with millions in the UK. At the end, they got up the top, all the pictures of all the people. And this woman comes on and says, hey, look, I'm a medical doctor, and I'm having to do ICU work right now. But the truth is, I'm an actress, and she's a very pretty Italian woman named Safani. And she says, I want to act more. And I said, look, you've come to the right guy in the right time, because you as a doctor need to look at the value tales, look at exactly what he did. He made $100 million that way. You today, if you listen to everything I teach based on the iPhone, you can take pictures, make a video, which is called a documentary, cut in all the pictures, just like if you watch Uppity or watch any of this stuff by Adam Carolla. He did Uppity, he did Paul Newman, all of which are on Netflix, and he's made gazillions, and he's the one who tells the story. Suddenly you're communicating with more people, but it all starts with writing. So it's amazing. So Harvard, Spencer calls me up from Harvard probably 10 years ago, and he's with the head of Harvard business and said, we want you to teach at Harvard. Now, I could never have gotten into Harvard. Jack, Dr. Canfield, went to Harvard and was third in his class, but I could. I was busy making money and having fun and studying with Harvard guys like Bucky Fuller and Richardson and all that. But I didn't, and Linus Pauling and all. I had the best graduate school ever, and I was then getting a 4.0. But he says, we want you to teach. And I said, well, Spencer, what do you get paid a year? And he said, 60. And I said, you mean a month? He said, no, I mean a year. I said, wait. My overhead is $2 million before I get to eat. How does that work? I said, what do I get? He said, you get prestige. I said, I'm not sure. But I got 387 staff members. I don't think they want to eat prestige. And I can't afford to do that. So I think that's the story he wanted me to tell. But the point to Julie and the point to that lady in London was Spencer is a great writer. Remember, I said you have to have a great book. But right now, that stuff needs to become videos. That stuff needs to become documentaries. That stuff needs to become plays. And this wonderful, beautiful medical doctor, I said, look, you need to be doing the narrating, and you can do everything with your phone today with all the pixels in a smartphone. There's no limit. And boy, you just see the lights go on for her and everybody else.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Brian says you can't eat prestige either. You can't eat asphalt either, buddy.
Right. He's repeating what you said.
I know. But I just couldn't resist riding on that line. Because some people ask me, do you really write your own stuff? I write all my own stuff. Like I've been writing all day today, and it's been very exciting because we got some new stuff that's going to change the world, I think.
You've written how many books total?
I've written 309 bestsellers, but I'm only beginning. I'm gonna, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a high quality life, you want a high quantity of life, it seems to me. And you can look at me, I'm 72, I'm healthy, I'm whole, I got the best wife in the world. I live in a spectacular home on top of a hill called McDowell Mountain in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've got friends literally all over the world, guys like Ken, who I've never physically met, but we're still great friends. Yeah. And Brian Hess, who I think the world of. We're teasing with him tonight, but he's teasing with us back, so it's fair play and fair game. And the goal is, how do we make the world work for 100% of humanity? Because 8 billion of us are in lockdown at some level or another, and we need to open it up. We need to learn to live with COVID, and the best way to live with it, to my mind, is you got to be taking zinc, because the body cannot have virus if it's got metals in it. So zinc's cheap. You can get it at the health food store. You can get it at CVS or Walgreens, wherever, and read what it says. But you take one a day, and pretty much you're going to be immune. And guys like Dr. Shiva at MIT just tell you the way out of this is take care of your own immune system. We need 8 billion people taking care of their immune system. That's the dream. I sent you that video, I think, didn't I, Ken?
Yeah, you did.
Did you watch them? Didn't you?
I did. Yep.
I mean, here's a living genius that I wish I should have introduced Stefani to, because it's just, Harvard and MIT are next to each other, so the professors teach both places.
Yeah. Wow. I think, look, again, I want to reiterate, I had somebody that thinks they're a literary genius, which he's never written a book. But I said, reiterate to him one day, and he goes, that's not actually a word. I said, yes, it is. And he said, no, it's not.
Reiterate's not a word?
That's what he said. I said, yes, it is. And he said, it would be, you want to iterate again, not reiterate. I said, that's what reiterate means, you moron.
But anyway. Listen, words are great fun, and here's the biggest word for you today, everybody. I want you to all learn at least 1 to 10 new words a day, because the bigger vocabulary, the smarter you are, the wiser you are, the richer, the deeper, the more dimensionality you can have in your mind. But the big word for words is you want to become a sesquipedalian. Now I've redefined it to mean that somebody that has the omni-efficacious use of the right word in the right place at the right time to get the right result right here and right now. Because I figure, hell, why should Webster be the only guy that can write a definition for a word, right?
Right. That's right. I agree.
I redefine a lot of words.
I love it. My 10-year-old daughter said about a year ago, she said something, and I said, "What'd you say?" And she repeated. I said, "Honey, that's not a word." And she said, "Yes, it is." And I said, "No, it's not." She said, "Daddy, where do words come from?" I go, I don't know. People make them up.
By the way, that's a great book she ought to write.
I know, right?
Where the Words Come From is a great title for a book, or maybe she could write it with Julie.
Yeah. She said, "Where do words come from?" I said, people. She goes, "Well, I'm a people, and I just made a new word." I said,
wait, she's telling the truth. Remember, she has a piece. She could do that. And by the way, if she was doing it in the form of Spencer, she would absolutely be able to do the whole story of Webster, how he started this. And I think it's Noah Webster, not Daniel Webster. Daniel Webster is senator. Noah Webster is the dictionary guy. And you're not that far away. You're 2 hours away from Miriam, Massachusetts, where they print all the dictionaries that, by the way, I got to be careful here. Maybe nobody prints a dictionary now that Wikipedia exists. I got to be careful. I don't want to be stupid here and say that there are dictionary manufacturers, but I suspect they still exist. I've got a lot of dictionaries in this house and thesauruses and all that.
We had somebody knock on the door the other day trying to sell educational material for kids. Can you believe it?
What company were they from?
I don't know. He was blocking the driveway. I was trying to get in. I said, and my wife standing at the front door talking to him as I'm pulling in. I go, "Dude, get your car out of my way. We're not interested." And that was it. But it was educational material or something, but I haven't seen that forever. But look, I think that
here, let me just do sesquipedalian because Brian just wrote, how do you spell it? So it's SESQUIPEDALIAN, sesquipedalian. It means a polysyllabic word. It's characterized by long words and somebody that's long-winded. Well, that fits me. But I got an idea. There are a lot of people, a lot of you could talk yourself into, you've got a voice memo and the average person talks 250 words a minute. You can talk it and then you can get it transcribed at idictate.com or no notes is who I use.com. And once and it's like a penny a word, right? So you all have the ability to do it. And all I want to do is give you the full, remember, I'm Danish heritage. We created smorgasbord, which means you got a lot of choices of what you're going to eat. Well, I want you to have a lot of choices of what you can do. Look at that. See, because some people accuse me of not using real words, but sesquipedalian is a real word. I just redefine it different than Mr. Webster.
Wow.
Isn't that a word?
That's a that's a great word. Sesquipedalian.
Yeah, wow. Isn't that good? That's your big word for the day, Ken.
I love it. Sesquipedalian.
That's right.
Mark, you're always a blast to have on, man. I'm gonna, reiterate that if you have ever had the thought, boy, I sure need to write a book, or anybody's ever said to you, you need to write a book, or you woke up this morning, you should write a book. And you need to go get signed up for the course. It's $9.97. You've got Mark Victor Hansen teaching you everything that you need to know about how to write a book, how to speed write a book, how to come up with the perfect title for the book, how to market the book, how to get the book out there, how to become a best-selling author. And it's a life-changing thing to do, by the way. I did it. It's a life-changing thing.
It makes you immortal.
What's that?
And the only thing you miss is it makes you immortal because a book will outlive you and I.
Amen.
I mean, we're reading books by Shakespeare. We're reading books by Moses, and that's 6,000 years ago.
That's so unbelievable when you think about it.
Yeah. So I want all of you to write a book. You have a book in you. we just had the course at markvictorhansen.com, which is scrolling on the bottom. It shows how to spell it. And look, I want more out of you for writing than even you want yourself. And I'm glad that people are asking you to reiterate it. And I think you'll like our website. You'll love the little video there. And, you know, they can even
Oh,
go
wow.
to
You have another package in there too. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, it depends on how much they want. If they want really, serious amount of my help picking titles and everything, I'm willing to do it. I'm here to source and serve because, look, I've been exceedingly successful. I'm not done. And we need everyone to wake up that inner radiance, that inner splendor, that mindfulness. And when you write, your wisdom pours out of you. All you got to do is get started, and I promise you it'll come to pass.
And all they're going to do is come over here to markvictorhansen.com and scroll down. You can sign up here to get a free ebook gift from Mark, How to Be Up and Down Times.
Yep.
So get that there and then click join me for the course and bam, get in there. And man, I really strongly would encourage that everybody, man, write your book, get your book written, get it out there, get this course. I'm telling you, I really wish this course would have existed when I wrote mine. It would have saved me a lot of headaches, man.
I wish it existed when I wrote mine. I promise you, I had to learn all this stuff. And what I've done is I've compressed 44 years of insight, wisdom, and understanding into something that you can use now. That's the good news.
That's awesome. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all. Mark.
Thank you, everybody, for being on. It has been great fun for me, and congratulations to each and every one of you.
Thank you.
In advance. Thanks, Ken, for having me.
Don't hang up on me yet, Mark. Hang on. Don't hang up.